40% of deaths in Uganda are blamed on non-communicable diseases, such as cardiac diseases, cancer, diabetes, and this could increase by 2030. It is supposed by the fact that 80% of Ugandans diagnosed with such diseases aren't aware, which means that majority seek for medication at a later stage. As Uganda will tomorrow join the rest of the world to celebrate World Food Safety Day, Hassan Kagure reports about the group of girls that are conducting skits with hope to create awareness, plus how to medically foods can help you remedy the non-communicable diseases. Let's have.
To the starving plate of fat and sugar and bottoms that barely fill my appetite for junk, a 5-course meal of junk with not nutrients.
Such habits of eating is one that is shared across a spectrum of many young people who have dished what health experts deem as healthy foods for what society deems fancy foods.
I just can't.
These young women are advocating for healthy eating and exercising, which could keep the bodies fit. They are also against unregulated beverages, which have flooded the markets.
Let's see, her body is not promising. BMI statistics tell her that she is just a word with 3 vowels. Obese. Come, join us for exercises. You need a new diet. Fruits and green leafy vegetables.
For many, chapati is popularly seen as food for slum dwellers who cannot afford fancy foods like chips and fried chicken. A plain chapati starts at 500 shillings and it can be served with beans or eggs, the popular Rolex.
Rolex here is superb. I've been here several times. I've tested it and it's of good quality. I can recommend friends.
It's different from any other Rolex I've ever had. It's nice. It has different flavors. It is sweet.
In this skit, these young girls show how the Rolex with other confectionaries are consumed with carbonated drinks, but the purpose could only be tasty.
People are more interested in how delicious the food is rather than how nutritious it should be. So, as a result of degrading the food as we prepare it, you get to find that what nutrients you could have got, you don't get because the digestive system does not complete the conversion of that food into the necessary components that the nutrients are supposed to be in. Protein is supposed to be broken down to amino acids. Carbohydrate is supposed to be broken down to glucose.
Due to what nutritionists describe as poor feeding lifestyle, majority of young people's population is now battling with non-communicable diseases, and diabetes is topping the list.
But most importantly, people don't understand what diabetes is. Because I look at it as an energy crisis. Yet what food we have is packed with the necessary electrons that are supposed to be used by cells. But most people don't understand that every time you cook food, you degrade its electrical potential. And therefore, the more cooked food you eat, the more you put yourself at the risk of having a lot of blood sugar that is electron deficient, and therefore the cells cannot use.
The Minister of Health estimates that 40% of annual deaths are linked to lifestyle diseases, and yet 80% are not aware, according to a 2014 national survey. At Mbarara Regional Referral Hospital alone, about 3,000 patients show up to pick diabetic drug on a weekly basis, and over 70% are obese, yet from families with plenty of healthy foods. In Mbarara Central Market, for instance, at only 2,000 shillings, one can buy enough greens and fruits for a household. But most of the buyers here opt for processed foods in the supermarkets.
It gives you an idea that people like it the easy way. When you buy something that is already prepared and you can put it in the saucepan and fry it a little and eat, it's not the same thing as washing those vegetables, cutting them properly, stir-frying them, or making juice out of it. The difference in the nutrient content of processed foods and fresh foods is enormous.
The products of a community that enjoys financial liberties with no restrictions at the expense of our own lives. An average Ugandan consumes more sugar, fat, and salt. There are more obese and stressed children, more hypertensive and diabetic patients slowly eating themselves to the grave.
A public health nutritionist in Bara has noted that a few Ugandans know little about preparing green vegetables, and as a result, chunks of ingredients are lost during cooking process.
If you have 100 grams of fresh green vegetables, you can harness about 254 megahertz of electricity. If you dry the same amount of vegetables, the electrical potential drops to 22 megahertz. If you cook them well, it drops to 2.
This perhaps explains why about 2.4 million children are stunted as captured in 2019 UNICEF report.
There should be restrictions on the marketing of foods and sugar-sweetened non-alcoholic beverages to children. Government should increase taxes on sugar-sweetened beverages to control consumption. Awareness should be put in place on unhealthy foods to children.
As Uganda sets for World Food Safety Day tomorrow, built on the theme Safe Food Today for Healthy Tomorrow, experts urge government to dictate what food to be eaten by the population. According to David Kabanda, the Executive Director for Center for Foods and Adequate Living Rights, foods high in sugar, salt and fats and sugar-sweetened beverages are currently increasing on the Ugandan market and in East Africa, yet these have a direct impact on overweight and obesity and are key contributing factors to premature death due to end disease. Story by Halson Kagure.